We are at the midpoint of the Triad Commercial Property Services 150 here at Caraway Speedway. Eric Freed, Jimmy Spencer, Rob Klepper, and our crew. The rain is held off. That's good news. Didn't look good earlier. We have been caution-free here at this race, but there are some signs of distress on some of these vehicles. And with more, here's Rob.
So guys, talking to the crew chief of also the 23 as well as the 1 of Burt Myers, we're seeing a lot of brakes being used here tonight. Jimmy Spencer, you don't want to run out of brakes here at Caraway Speedway. They said no cause for concern if those brakes light up. It just means they're working right now. The 23 and the 1 are still good to go. They still have pedal, and they're still charging the front.
What's interesting though is we're also starting to see brake heat in Andy Seiss' car. We're starting to see it in the Miller second place car. So this is something I don't think these guys were prepared to be running some 80 laps under green on this tight cornered racetrack, Eric.
Bernhosel is up to 7th position, by the way. Fleming has slipped back to 8th. Lofton is hanging in there. You saw that car smoking a few moments ago. He's hanging in right now in 5th position. And our points leader, James Savali, he told Rob right before the command to start the engines that he wanted to get up to the front as quickly as possible. Well, he slid back a little bit since the start of the race.
Yeah, and you know, he's dropped back to 9th. He's 11.5 seconds back. That's over half a lap behind. We're almost 3/4 of a lap. So to me, I don't believe he's saving his tires. I believe his car's not handling quite as well as he would like it to handle. And Andy Seiss is still, you know, keeping it toward pace, running 17-second laps right now and pulling away.
Andy Seiss has led every lap here. L.W. Miller took a couple of looks at him, but Seiss had enough to keep Miller, who is right now 5 points out of first place in our points race. But Seiss is 27 points behind L.W. Miller for third. As you take a look at the points leader, Savali, who is in risk of slipping back a little bit.
Now we see the 0-2 of Tim Brown pit. Something's funny here because he pitted under green and it looks like he had all of his tires up. So, Rob, could you give us a report on that?
Down to Rob.
Guys, they do have the back of this car jacked up. It looks like they're making a chassis adjustment. We can see on the front end the brakes are smoking, but a chassis adjustment to try and make this car better. Brown is out of the hot pit, so get back onto the track.
Eric, that's strange because I can't see why you would make a chassis adjustment under green flag conditions. So this car must have been really, really loose for Tim, a very experienced driver. Didn't want to wreck his race car. Decided the best thing to do is come in and make some adjustments.
Well, the Rocket was hoping to come into Caraway and have some success in the 0-2. He has yet to find that success. We saw him with some struggles at Bowman Gray. Struggled a bit at Bristol as well. The Rocket struggling here tonight. Seiss and Miller continue to battle as they come up on some lap traffic yet again.
This is big now. The 2 car of the Josh Nichols is holding these guys up. Now here he goes to the outside, so he finally got by him.
Here is Seiss, Miller, 1-2. Andy Seiss has to know that L.W. Miller has had great success here at this track. And as Jimmy mentioned at the top of the telecast, call him the king.
Caraway's always been one of my best tracks that we go to on the tour. We run there, you know, frequently, so which is good for me because it's, you know, enabled me to always have a lot of success because we go to a track that I seem to run real well at. You know, for a long time I was named the king of Caraway. You know, won more races there than anybody else.
Well, the king of Caraway is in safe position right now as we finally get our first caution. The number 77 of Gary Putnam had a bit of an issue, and he was stopped on the front stretch. He's up and running again. There you see Putnam, who, well, in his real job in many ways, of course, if you're a racer, that is your real job and your love, but he works full-time as the car chief for Earnhardt Ganassi Racing with Jamie McMurray. We've seen McMurray have some great success on Sprint Cup Series this year. But there you see the damage on the 77 of Putnam, and here we are with 90 laps gone by. We're on lap 91, and we have our first caution, and guys bailing for the pits right now, Jimmy.
Yeah, we also saw that zero car of Greg Butcher involved, and he really held that whole mess up. But now we see Savali's car in the pits. This is uncharacteristic because they can't change tires, but evidently they're looking for chassis adjustments.
Savali in and out very quickly as the pace car comes around, crossing the start-finish line as Savali races to get out on the track in time. Several cars coming in. Brian Lofton is in the pits. Tim Brown is back in the pits as well. Zach Brewer has come in and is ready to exit the pits, but he's being held there. And a moment ago, we saw Frank Fleming fall back. He's out of the top 10. Rob Klepper's on pit road.
Well, guys, a lot of action down here in the hot pits. Tim Brown in for the second time. They said the stagger has grown on the right rear, so it looks like they're going to change the right rear and try and get the stagger down. The car is very loose. That chassis adjustment we talked about the last time he came was to tighten that car up. We also saw Savali, your points leader in the pit. They took some air out of the right rear again. The right rear is getting hot here tonight. Jimmy Spencer with these long green flag runs, so we'll have to see how this shakes out as we get set to go back to green here in a while.
These cars are very critical on stagger. What they're saying is the right rear has grown. It's gotten larger than they wanted it to be, so it's opened the stagger up. So if they, instead of running 2 inches of stagger, they might have gone to 2.5 or 3. This is why they're making these adjustments. Savali
in again for another adjustment. We'll keep an eye on that as we step away from Caraway Speedway. Will Seiss be quick on the restart, or will Miller get a run? Back with that in a moment.
Now we see the car of Brumholzer racing Myers for 5th. So Georgie not surrendering yet for a late entry to come in here now, passes Myers and moves into the top 5.
Well, he may be a late entry, but he's not your usual, oh, I've decided to go race here today guy. He's someone who's had a lot of success here at this track. He won the Fall Classic at the end of last year right here at Caraway. It was a very tight race with John Smith, and that's one of the cars that he's trying to catch right now as Brunholzer moves up to 5th position. What a story this can become, as last year's champion, running just the second race this year here on the Southern Tour, has come back and he has moved into the top 5.
Now we're starting to see LW put the pressure back on Andy Seiss. So LW looks like after that long stretch of green and these caution flags might have put his car back into position. He might have got his brakes adjusted right, got the feeling back that he needed, and putting a lot of pressure on Seiss right now.
Seiss and Miller. Lap 115, just 35 to go. Seiss has never trailed here in this race.
Seiss with his mirror forward. LW just giving him a little warning, saying, here I am, Andy, and don't start slowing the pace down. We saw what LW did at Bowman Gray, and he's starting to do it here now. So looks like LW is this late race guy is coming to life right now, and he's all over the back bumper of Andy Seiss.
At Bowman Gray, it was Burt Myers in the lead when Miller made a late bump, a hard bump, to nudge Myers out of the way. And then it was L.W. Miller moving on to the checkered flag, a guy who had had so much success. That was his 11th win in his tour career, but had not been in victory lane. Really, at the end of last year, they decided to end their race season early. They needed to regroup as a team, and that really has paid off here into 2010. There were 3 second-place finishes in a row before Miller took the checkered flag at Bowman Gray.
What we're seeing, though, here is the car of Miller's is just getting a little bit loose up off a 2. And he's not got the grip that he needs, and he's actually a little snug off a 4. So 2 different scenarios at each end of the racetrack, and we're starting to see Andy Seiss starting to pull away. As we see the 28 of Brumholzer and Myers getting it on here. These guys are racing for 4th position.
Smith getting a win here in July. Myers, number 1. Brunholzel is in 5th position. Jason Myers in 6th. Brandon Heyer now 7th. And the points leader, Savali, in 8th position right now. Jonathan Kiefman into the top 10 at number 9. With more on our leader, here's Rob.
Well, guys, you talked about the 36 getting a little bit loose. Andy Sice just told the crew, I'm getting looser and looser by every lap. But this team, of course, has a bit of history. 2-time champions in the Southern Modified Tour with Junior Miller. Riggs Racing won those 2 titles back in 2005 and 2006. And it was Junior Miller who handpicked Andy Sice to drive this car. After he got out, he said, hey, put this young kid in. He's going to do wonders. And so far tonight, he's getting it done.
Back in the spring race, Rob, Andy Sice took the lead on lap number 1. He passed pole sitter Burt Myers on that first lap and went on to lead all 150 laps here at Caraway. He's going for a repeat performance in the 3rd and final race of the Tour season here at Caraway, as Sice has the lead over Miller now with 24 laps to go. We'll take you to the finish here at Caraway Speedway. Can Sice hold on? Does Miller have something left? Find out in a moment.